Representing Franchise Secrets, Eric Von Horn.
If you're not a part of the Franchise Secrets Facebook group, what are you waiting for? It's franchisesecrets.com/Facebook. I cannot believe how valuable this group turned out to be. When someone asks a question, the feedback is honest, authentic, very helpful, and it's from multiple perspectives. If you're not sure that you're getting the most accurate information about franchising, then check out the largest, most helpful Facebook group in all of franchising. Whether you're a Z, a Zor, a buyer, or investor, join our free Facebook group at franchisesecrets.com/Facebook. Welcome to the Franchise Secrets Podcast. Eric Van Horn here today, solo again. And I wanted to just talk about my journey of learning and growing and masterminds and being around people that have pushed me and have helped me grow and mentors of mine and all of that stuff. Because I get asked like, Eric, how did you start your learning journey? And I've said it before, I'm a C student in high school and in college where I got a business degree. I was a C student and I didn't try very hard in school. I didn't enjoy school learning very much, but I do remember being in college and I excelled in finance, and that was one subject that I did well in. Most of them, straight C. Finance, an A. There were some classes that I really enjoyed though. And there was classes that really didn't have a textbook. It was I remember two different professors of mine had classes where we read the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And that's really where I started to understand task management, delegation, things like that, and what quadrant I wanted to be in. I wanted to be focused in the non-urgent but important quadrant, meaning getting things done that are really important, but they don't need to get done tomorrow. And that means it's a less stressful life. You're focusing on things that are not reactive. That's the proactive column to be in versus the reactive. And trust me, I've been in all of it, and it's easy to get caught in that reactive quadrant. But that's when I started to understand, like, man, Stephen Covey is really smart. And I bought other books of his that I read outside of college. And I actually had 2 classes like that. And so that's really where I started to appreciate authors and books. And I think as I look back and reflect, that was the beginning of my learning journey. And I wasn't a natural learner. I was always curious, always asked questions, but as I would ask questions so I could be right. Like in high school, I was on the debate team. I enjoyed debate. Like that was probably, besides recess when I was younger and study hall when I was older, debate might have been one of my favorite classes. And I worked at it. I enjoyed it, but I also enjoyed being right. And I needed to be right. I wanted to be right. So I would ask questions in a way so I could be right. And then as I grew, I started to ask questions to learn versus questions just to be right. So that's part of just a little insight into who I was and how I started to learn things that became enjoyable to me. So then I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I remember being on a flight reading that when I was younger, and I'm like, man, this is amazing. And that transformed the way I wanted to be in business and be an entrepreneur and the things that I wanted to do and my philosophy on money and investing. And it just changed everything for me. And then I got a book or a course. This is my first introduction to a course, Carlton Sheets. Carlton Sheets, I think it was like no money down. It was this blue thing, and it probably wasn't even CDs. It might have been CDs. It might have even been tapes back then. But it was how to buy houses with no money down, with all kinds of different sheets of paper in there that would help you buy houses with no money down. And so I loved that content. That helped me get into real estate investing. And that's when I started to I took real estate classes to become a realtor. And so I became a realtor and I started to invest in real estate. And sure enough, I bought a house, no money down, and that was my seed money to buy my first franchise. So then I started to read books like The E-Myth and The 4-Hour Work Week, where Michael Gerber says, work on your business, not in your business. I'm like, that's interesting. I was ready to go to law school, and as an attorney, all I could see is making high dollars per hour versus leveraging. And I know there's attorneys that absolutely leverage their time, but it helped me understand I don't want to be an attorney. In other words, I don't want to not be able to leverage my time. If I'm working on my business, then I'm leveraging people, and I can make more money per hour because I'm leveraging people, and I can do the things that I enjoy in the business. So Michael Gerber, that's what he taught me. And then Tim Ferriss taught me never to work a day in my life, work 4 hours a week. And I did that for a while after I sold my first business. After running it for 10 years, I did the 4-hour work week. And then I realized I don't really enjoy not working. I didn't feel productive. I was young. I didn't have endless supplies of money. I had enough money, but I didn't have endless supplies of money. So then I really started to go on this journey of learning the things that I wanted to learn. I was starting to do franchise consulting. I was helping brands with their franchise development. This was about 10 years ago. And so I wanted to level up my game. And the first coach that I hired was a guy named Frank Kern, and he was probably the best, if not one of the best, in direct response marketing. And so he's a very good teacher, and so I hired him, and there was 10 of us in a room, and we would meet with him 2 days to go over the stuff that we're wanting to learn and to do in our business. And then he would dissect it and help you out. And I did that in 3 different meetings. And I'm like, man, I'm learning from a legend here. And I learned copywriting. I learned the value stack. I learned all kinds of things that I use today in things that I'm helping other people with, whether I'm helping people in my Franchise Tribe Mastermind, their franchisees wanting to get better at marketing and doing things like that, or with social media, or now with the Franchisor Mastermind, where I'm helping franchisors basically go from not many locations, or maybe not any locations, to get to that magical 100 locations or 100 franchisees. So I learned a lot from Frank back then. And then this is when I really leveled up. I was went to this big marketing conference, and they had a mastermind that they said, if you really want to get good at marketing, if you really want to level up, then join this mastermind. It's only $30,000. And I'm like, well, I'm started to get used to paying money to learn, and it's actually starting to work really well. Like, I've got access to people that I never had access to before. And now I can learn from them, and I can ask them really good questions, and they can just collapse timeframes for me. They can tell me the shortcut on how to achieve the things that I want to achieve without having to go through all the learnings and the processes that the normal people have to go through. So I started to understand the value of paying for community, paying for really smart people to teach me the things that they've spent a lot of time learning themselves. And so that was a mastermind that I joined, and I was with that mastermind for a number of years. I have great friends in that mastermind. And I remember being in meetings, and I would say, hey, what do you know about so-and-so? I'm thinking about working with them. I'm thinking about hiring them. I'm thinking about helping them help me in my business. What do you know? And I heard things like, Eric, absolutely do not work with them. This is what they're really like. Behind closed doors, behind all the things that you see online, behind all of the fake testimonials, behind all of the stuff, behind the curtain, they don't deliver. And I'm like, wow, I thought they were one of the best at the thing that I needed, but I learned that that is absolutely not the person that I needed to hire. And I would say, what about so-and-so? And they would say, absolutely. Like, this person, they would do anything for you. And I've seen them go above and beyond, consistently over-delivering for everybody that they work for. So I started to understand just the value of being a part of a mastermind, being a part of a group. And it's not just the things that you learn on the calls or in the meetings. It's the knowledge that somebody has that you need at some point in the year or 2 or 3 or 10 years that you're part of that mastermind. That's massive value that I never understood until I really became a part of a group that was able to help me. I also understood after asking some really good questions about, I would say, I started to ask more general questions. I need help with X. Who do you know? And then all of a sudden, like their Rolodex opened up for me. And then I realized their Rolodex is just not full of people that are on camera or on stage or have podcasts or have, a big following. There are really good people out there that are behind the scenes. They're not known, but they are very, very good at what they do. And so I started to get introduced to those types of people that just saved me so much time and so much money by going to the right person that I needed at that point. And that's how it is for so many of us in franchising. This is the reason I started the Franchisor Mastermind. Like, you get started in franchising, there's so many different decisions that you need to make as a franchisor. And I know it because I was there. Like, what vendor do you need for this? For social media? Do you do it in-house? Do you do outsource? What about a vendor for apparel and all the little things for trade shows and, or training? How do I have a training department? Who do I use to help me do that? Who do I use to help me even have a robust operating manual or behind the scenes stuff for franchisees, a coach for them? There's so many things that as a franchisor, a new franchisor, that you just don't know, that you need to go to somebody that you trust that's going to give you accurate information. That's why I started the Franchisor Mastermind, to help people with things like that. So here I am spending $30,000 a year to be a part of this mastermind. And then there was another mastermind that came on my radar, $100,000 a year to join this other mastermind. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot of money. There's no way I would ever do that. And then I look back and I'm like, man, if I've had ROI on everything that I paid a lot of money for, why would I not get ROI on this? So I did. I joined, and I was a part of that mastermind and had amazing time, amazing friendships, and people that have been on this podcast are from that mastermind. And now they're part of my Rolodex that I can just reach out to. Because think about it this way, is what I never thought about before. If you're paying money, if you're in a free group, you're in a group of 100 people that nobody paid any money to be a part of, and there are going to be people in there that are doing amazing things, and there are going to be people in there that are doing nothing. And you don't really know necessarily like who's who. You might, but those are just called friends because you know them. Now, if you're part of a group where people are paying money, paying whatever that dollar amount is, they paid something to be a part of that group. And if they paid to be a part of that group, they're just like you, and they're hungry to learn, they're hungry to give, and you're probably in a similar place in life and in business, give or take, a couple levels up or a couple levels down. I like to be in groups where I'm definitely not the smartest person in the room. When I paid that $100,000, I felt like the dumbest guy in that room, that I didn't belong, and I wasn't at that caliber until I realized a lot of other people felt the same way. They didn't say it that first meeting, but that second and third meeting, they opened up and people would be like, I didn't feel like I belonged here because everyone here is so much more successful than me. Guys, those are the rooms that you want to be in. You want to be around people that are going to push you, whether it's in a mastermind or maybe you hire a coach. Here's another way that I've learned, and I've seen friends of mine do. If you want to really excel at something, get into a mastermind, people that push you, or hire somebody that's really good at the thing that they do, and they are able to teach you in collapsed timeframes, and you usually pay a lot of money for it. That's what I do. And when I do a done with you service for my private clients with franchise development, they want to get really good at selling franchises really fast so they can start to sell franchises and bring on the right franchisees to get them open to get to that 100 units. They pay me a lot of money for that. Now, and it's worth it. And I've done that with other people. I pay them a lot of money to learn something that's going to help me excel rapidly. So there's so many different ways to learn out there. I would say this: if you are wanting to level up your game in 2022 or 2023, whenever you're listening to this, then get around a group of people that make you a bit uncomfortable. And maybe you're really good at the thing that you're doing now or within your particular industry, but you want to learn. Well, for me, it was investing. I started to invest a while ago, meaning 5 years, 6 years ago, invest a lot of money, at least it was a lot to me at the time, a lot of money into investments that were not going to produce money for a period of time. And I was just talking to a friend of mine today. I was out walking around on the property on the little ranch that I have. And I was on speakerphone with him, and he's like, and he invested into the same deal that I invested into about 5 years ago. He's like, Eric, can you believe we're getting all of our money back from that right now, and we still have equity in that? It's a beautiful apartment complex, is what it is, and this one was about 3 years ago. 3 years, we get all of our money back, and we still have a lot of equity, a lot of ownership, where we're just going to be making money every month. And I'm like, I know. We started to plant flags, and I started to understand passive investing. And then I leveled up in passive investing. I got around people that knew more about it than I did years ago. And so I could start to understand it. And since then I just looked just recently, and I've over 20 deals that I'm a part of that I had no idea. And I was talking to my friend again, the same. He's like, gosh, I forget. Sometimes I have to go back and look at my spreadsheet because I can't believe I've been this many deals. Guys, I know people that are doing 20, 30 deals a year. I'm not at that level. I'm at a lower level than that, but I'm around those people. And I want to be around them. So what is it for you that you want to level up in? Go hire a coach, go join a mastermind. There's all kinds of things that you can do. There's Vistage. Vistage is a group out there that you might want to join locally. EO, Entrepreneurs Organization. YPO, Young Presidents Organization. The Franchise Tribe Mastermind, where it's us franchisees that are leveling up and actually helping each other. And you'll be in there, and there'll be people that are doing millions more than you, and there are going to be people in there that are just starting out that you're going to be able to help. Or maybe it's a franchisor mastermind, and that's franchisesecrets.com/Zor, where you can learn about that. Or just find people that are doing really good things in your local city, wherever you live. I can think of a handful of people right now that I would want to go take out to a nice dinner. I would spend $500 easily on a dinner, one-on-one, to have a meal with a handful of people that I know in this local town that I live in. And if I did that, they would give me some attention, and they're friends of mine, but I would do that because they help me level up. They're playing at a different level that I'm playing at. So if you really want to get better at whatever it is that you want to learn, whether it's investing or whether it is going from 1 to 2 to 10 to 12 to 24 plus units, or 1 to 2 to 3 to 5 different brands, whatever it is, get around people that have done it before. And you can even take a couple steps above you. If you are a single unit franchisee, get around a franchisee that it has multiple brands and just pick their brain, but offer to pay them for it. I get so many people that just say, Eric, can I pick your brain? Can I pick your brain? Can I pick your brain? I don't mind people saying that because sometimes I say yes. Most of the time they have to pay me for it because my schedule gets so full of that. And here's the thing too. If you want to be around, if you want to level up your game as a dad, as a father, as a husband, check out Front Row Dads. It's a group that I'm a part of, and it's an amazing community to level up your game as a dad or as a husband. So, or if you want to get better at your time, if you want to protect your time more, get around people that do protect their time. Not that just say that, but actually do it. I got this. This is one of the last podcasts that I'm doing for this year. I'm taking the last 2 weeks of December completely off. People are trying to get on my calendar right now. And I said, no, it's going to be, I got 2 weeks off. Doesn't mean I'm not going to work. Caleb and I are going to be doing stuff. We're going to be talking. We're going to be planning. But I am not going to be taking phone calls. And I'm not going to be doing a bunch of podcasts and all of this kind of stuff. It's reserved. There's going to be a ton of family time. There's a 2-week vacation in Mexico with the family. It's all family time. We have trips coming up. Vacations are a priority for me this next year. It's not trips for business, because I've done that. I've been there, done that so many times. I'm looking at my calendar. I say, I want to spend more time with the family. Even though I spend more time than most people do with my family, I want to spend even more time because I see friends of mine doing that, and that's important to me in this season that I'm in. It's not always going to be that way. It doesn't mean that I'm a better dad or a better husband because I spend more time. It's about the time that you do spend, that it's intentional, or the life that you've created for yourself, that you're able to do that. So this season in my life, I have a choice: travel for more masterminds and more learning, or travel to spend more time with my family and give my kids and my wife experiences that they wouldn't get if we didn't do that. So that's a little bit about me, some insight into my mind. I went into things I didn't even know I was going to talk about today. I told Caleb, let's do a podcast on how I learn. And that was the one question I asked myself: how do I learn? This is what came out. So again, we talked about things that I don't think I've really talked about to anybody about in a long time. So I hope this encourages some of you to level up and not be afraid to spend money doing that. If I hadn't spent money doing that 5 years ago, I would absolutely not be where I am today. So think about that. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Franchise Secrets Podcast. Whether you're watching or listening, please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and to whatever channel you're listening on. If you want my help with anything from buying a franchise to franchising your business, please visit franchisesecrets.com.